You think a Band-Aid's not gonna save your life? Well, you better tell that to my children because they go through these like air. Hey everyone, Morgan here. Today we're going to be talking about, well, that's upside down. Today we're going to be talking about first aid, as well as stocking up on medicines from natural to over the counter, and even some jase antibiotics. So I got a lot of stuff to talk about here. Let's get going. I want to tell you a little story really quick, so stick with me. So when my oldest was about 1, we were in Toys R Us. And you know, we're dating ourselves here because Toys R Us has been not with us for a while. Anyway, so we were at Toys R Us and we were just, you know, wandered around, and like we play this little game where, you know, I'll get like a little bit of head and I'm like, come on, you gotta go. And so she was just kind of running to me, having a great time. And then boom, face plant right into the ground. And I was devastated. I was like, oh my gosh. And I wish her lip was bleeding. She had bit her lip and she was crying blood. And I had nothing. I was a prepper at the time, but I wasn't prepared to that extent. In fact, first aid was one of my weakest skills for a long time. I never, ever prioritized first aid. And when that happened, I realized I need to prioritize first aid. This is ridiculous because I was running up to like the front desk and like these teenagers were behind the counter and I was like, hey, do you have like a first aid kit or something? And they were just like, first aid kit. I'm like, just anything, like a paper towel, a tissue, something. They're like, So I had to run all the way out to my car. I had a first aid kit in my car. We always have had a first aid kit in the car, but it made me so angry that I couldn't do anything right then and there. It made me angry at me, you know, because I wasn't there and prepared for my child. And then I started thinking, well, what if this happens again or anything else? When we're off-roading and camping, we go to that car kit all the time, that car first aid kit. And now we actually carry a trauma kit in our car as well, which I've shown you in a past video. So we have first aid kits everywhere. I also have a first aid kit. This is my purse. I have this first aid kit by Keep Going First Aid. And this first aid kit has gotten many, many uses. Okay. So not just having the stuff, but also learning first aid skills, CPR, stop the bleed. Those are 2 that I would really focus on. And then once you want to get a little bit further, get into a wilderness first aid class. I have been dying to get into a wilderness first aid class. It will happen one day. So first of all, just having a really basic kit at home like this. This is our home first aid kit. I always keep it stocked with basic things. There's a few things in here like there's some gauze and some Band-Aids and just really basic things. I make my own homemade salve. So we don't carry Neosporin, but we have our own homemade salve, little alcohol pads, things like that. Just real basic things for the home. I also, at home in my prepper closet, I have this wound care bucket, which is filled with gauze and alcohol and all sorts of things in there. I also have other more advanced preps like a staple gun. I have suture kits, things like that, that I do practice and we teach the whole family and everything to use. But those are more advanced skills and things that I really do think that you should look into. But there's a whole bunch of first aid stuff and I'm going to have a list. I have a list on my blog as well. It's going to be linked down in the description. But okay, so we have this one at home. I showed you the one in my purse and then I showed you earlier the one in my car. This is the one on my bug out bag. It has a tourniquet. I really should stage this. I got a comment from them and they were like, remember to stage that tourniquet when they saw my bug out bag video. And I was like, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, I'm sorry. But these are trauma shears and it's a basic first aid kit that this stays on my bug out bag. And I do think that tourniquets are super important. I need to stage this. Please don't yell at me. Learning to use the tourniquet is also super important. There was a prepper channel once that was like, you know, a Band-Aid's not going to save my life. That was why I introed that. And I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, maybe it will. Who are you to tell me that I should or should not have a Band-Aid? Stock up the Band-Aids. My kids especially, they like to just have a Band-Aid on, mainly because it makes them feel better and it does absorb, you know, and the blood and stuff like that. It's not like it's completely useless. A Band-Aid does help keep it clean while the body is working to, create that scab and everything. So it's like the Band-Aid is not useless, okay? Stock up on the Band-Aids, use the Band-Aids. It could actually save your life, okay? So could everything else. There's lots of reasons and instances in which you may want a certain first aid gear. So anyway, moving on. So in addition to first aid supplies, you do want, over-the-counter medications. You want to have medications that are for you as well as your children. These are for children, and then this is for the adults. So I do have both, but I am starting to work more towards homeopathy and natural, like tinctures and stuff like that. I have a tincture here that I just made. This is the ashwagandha. This is for like stress relief and stuff like that. I have herbs just coming out of my ears, so I like to make lots of tinctures. This one is currently being made right now. Something else is the Jase Medical. These are emergency antibiotics, excuse me. They have some for kids now as well as for adults. So I'm really excited for that. It's good to have antibiotics on hand. Like they are for emergency purposes. That's the entire point of this. That's the entire point of this. That's the entire point of this, right? That's the entire point. We're not using these things just whenever we want. Like we're going to try to resolve the issue before jumping to, some sort of medicine. But coffee is also really important for, medical purposes. But speaking of, there's things like teas. Teas are really, really good for you. Green teas, herbal teas. These are all natural medicines taken in tea form, which are good for so many reasons. In fact, about a couple weeks ago, my oldest was sick and she was sniffling and coughing. And I started taking green tea every single day. Green tea is packed with nutrients to support your immune system and so much more. And I started feeling a little tickle, so I was taking it every single day, once or twice a day. And I either staved off the sickness or maybe I wasn't getting sick at all. I don't know. But I did have like a little tiny stuffy nose and a little tiny sore throat for like a little day. But then I took it the rest of the week and I was good. I'm not saying that you should be doing this. I am not giving you medical advice. You need to look into all of this stuff yourself. But I know that green tea is powerful, especially when it comes to that. There's also like echinacea, lots of wild herbs and things like that that are fantastic for you. And I suggest getting a book, taking online courses. I like the Herbal Academy for taking online courses to learn more about herbs, but books like this by Rosemary Gladstar, she's a superstar, medical herbs. Her website is fantastic. And be really cautious with books these days because AI, people are making books with AI and there's lots of incorrect information when it comes to herbs and AI. So be very cautious. Look at the author and really research them and make sure they have a voice in the community. It's very important. This is the complete homeopathy handbook. I'm getting really into homeopathy and the medicines and all that. So tinctures and homeopathy, I really want to try to replace like over-the-counter medications with that stuff. But I will still have this stuff because I think it's important for us to have a variety of things. And one more thing about over-the-counter medications, antibiotics, stuff like that, this stuff can last past the Best Buy. This says Best Buy of 2027, it's 2025 at the making of this video. It says a 2-year Best Buy date. That's really good. And of course, they're probably talking about, unopened because you want to keep all medications in a cool, dark, dry place. When they start getting moisture and stuff like that, they can seriously degrade. But they have tested like, in 2 years it's good. But there's lots of military tests out there that actually say that both antibiotics and over-the-counter medications are good much longer past that, as long as you're keeping them in ideal conditions and not in super hot, conditions or super cold or anything like that. Like don't store them in the fridge or the freezer or anything like that. Unless the medication specifically says, store this in the fridge or freezer, don't store it in the fridge or freezer. Here's another book about medical herbalism. This is a big one. Okay, this can knock you out. The Science and Practice of Herbal Medicine. I am a nerd when it comes to medicinal herbs and medical herbalism and stuff like that. And so I love these types of books and it's very educational to me. It helps me a lot in my first aid journey. All right, and then this is nutritional healing. I am a really big fan of prevention. If there's any way that I can eat right and exercise and do things for my health that is going to try to prevent certain things from happening. You need to find ways that is going to help you with your nutrition and exercise and stuff like that. It's not just about popping a pill when you feel a little inflammation or a little headache or something. It's getting to the root cause. Why am I getting this headache? Should I be drinking more water? Do I need some electrolytes? Do I need to eat something? Should I reduce my caffeine? And then if you still have the headache, then of course you can reach for something to relieve the pain, which is inflammation, right? But anyway, that's my rant on that. Have first aid kits everywhere. Even my kids have first aid kits. They have them in their, like they have made little first aid kits themselves. They have it in their bug out bags. Like they are adamant about their first aid kits. You know, when they get a boo-boo, they want to put on the Band-Aid. They know to go to the first aid kit and it's accessible to them so that they can go grab the Band-Aid, put it on. They love to help each other put on Band-Aids. They like to help me put on Band-Aids, these kinds of things. So of course we always want to practice safety, you know, like with knives and all these things that could cause injury and things, you know, safe practices first before we dive into projects. But even though we're practicing these preventative measures, it doesn't hurt to have these things on hand. You know what I mean? So anyway, if you're seeing any rings in my eyes, it's because I'm using a ring light. So it's not aliens or anything coming to take over. There is so much to learn when it comes to first aid, health, and medicine. And I am starting a second channel where I'm going to be talking about fitness and health and everything. As a mom, as a prepper, as an individual, this is something I've been truly passionate about. And the Angry Prepper actually inspired me to do this because I've had a lot of passion for this, and the Angry Prepper actually inspired me to do this. He got his Angry Fitness channel up, and I'm going to put his link down below where you can go check his out. And he's inspiring me to talk more about this because I think in this day and age, it's truly important to inspire people to get up and move a little more, to eat a little bit healthier. And I'm going to be talking about alternative medicines over there as well, a lot more. So I hope that you will join me over there. The link to that second channel is down below in the description. And this whole journey is about self-reliance and that kind of thing. For keeping that momentum, okay, download that 30 Days to Ready workbook down below in the description. Lots of things for you to check out in the description today. Thank you all so much for watching Conquer Tomorrow by Preparing today, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Talk to you later. Bye.